Today I got a battle for you. I got the new Sony 15mm f1.4 versus the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Which one is better for studio setups? Let's talk about that next. All right guys, welcome back for another video. I hope you guys are enjoying these outdoor videos. I know I am. It's definitely nice to get outdoors versus sitting cramped in a studio all the time. But today I have the Sony 15mm f1.4 lens. I've been using this lens now for about a week and a half, and I really enjoy using this lens. Almost so much that this 16mm, it might be a little obsolete for me now, because this Sony 15mm G lens is lighter, it's compact. I mean, look at the size difference on these two. This 15mm also has a lot of bells and whistles on it that the 16mm just doesn't have. This thing has a focus hold button along with an autofocus manual focus switch. It does have an aperture ring, which is clickable, and it's also declickable, which makes this thing great for video work. Now it's super lightweight and it's super compact that you can put this thing on a gimbal and you're gonna get yourself a nice about 22.5mm to 23mm equivalent. So you throw this thing on a gimbal and this thing is gonna be great for all day wedding shoots. It goes down to f1.4 just like the Sigma. Now the Sigma has no bells and whistles on it, just got this giant focus ring. It doesn't have a focus hold button. It also has a bigger filter thread. This thing is a 67mm filter thread, where the Sony is gonna be a 55mm filter thread. So it's gonna have a smaller filter thread and it's gonna allow you to get a smaller ND filter. Like I said, this Sony 15mm does have an aperture ring on it, which does make it kind of nice. Now this Sigma 16mm has been one of my favorite lenses since I got into the APS-C system. Now what I am gonna do is I'm gonna throw this 16mm Sigma on here so you can see what the image quality is gonna look like. I'm gonna drop this thing all the way down to f1.4, so I will need a variable ND filter to make that happen. But let's go ahead and throw it on. Right now I am shooting with the new Sony 11mm f1.8. It's currently in an f2.8 and I do have some ND on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on right now. All right, so now we're back on the Sigma 16mm at f1.4. I did have the active stabilization on, so it did crop in a little bit. So I turned that off now, so this way we can get a nice wide field of view. So this is what the Sigma 16mm looks like. It's a fantastic lens. It's got great autofocus, really sticky on the eye. As I'm looking in the screen, I can see the eye bouncing all over the place. So the Sony ZV-E10 does a great job pairing up with this lens. I can tell you that the image quality coming out of it looks absolutely fantastic. But there is the new 15mm, which is so much lighter. So what I would like to do is show you what 15mm looks like. So right now we have 16mm on here. Let's go ahead and put 15 on here. All right, so this is what 15mm looks like. Let's go ahead and put that 16 back on. Okay, back to 16mm. And let's go ahead and put this 15 back on and finish the video with the 15mm focal length. Now we'll go ahead and finish up this video with the 15mm on here, which is gonna give me about a 22.5 full frame equivalent. The nice thing is that this thing is super light, super compact. It's gonna be so much lighter than that Sigma 16mm. Now to be honest with you, are you gonna notice much of a difference between 15 and 60mm? Now I definitely have a lot more headroom up here, but I did notice that when I switched out these lenses, that I did lose a stop of light. So I don't know if it's something because of the extra millimeter and the depth of field, if that screwed something up, or if it's something more to do with the lens construction. Let's go ahead and show you what this thing looks like in action. All right, so the benefits of this lens is this is going to be the fastest lens that you can get for the Sony APS-C system. We are currently shooting at f1.4. I got the depth of field super low, and as you notice when I put my hand up here, there you go, look at all that background blur that you're gonna get. Now on an APS-C camera, your background blur is not going to be as good as some of the full frame cameras, but it can still be very nice. It can give you some decent subject separation. Now at a 15mm focal length, this thing is going to be really nice for talking head videos. You can go ahead and set this thing up on a tripod and you're gonna be just shooting video after video after video. And it's far enough away where it doesn't distort your face, but it's far enough away where not like right up on top of the lens either. This way you can talk to the lens, talk to your viewers. You're not gonna feel like you're on top of them. I really like this 15mm focal length. I think the Sigma does have a little special characteristic to it, but that lens is kind of front heavy. So if you're out walking around using it, it's definitely gonna be front heavy. This lens has no stabilization. It's gonna be a little tough to sometime be vlogging with this lens because you're gonna have to throw the active stave on. On the Sony ZV-E10, that's gonna put an additional 1.4 crop on here. So now your 22.5 is gonna be closer to about a 35-ish. Let's go ahead, I'll show you exactly what I mean right now. All right, so now I did stop down to an f2.8 because it is kind of bright out here today. So I do want to give you a full look. Now this is still at the 15mm. I have not put on the active stave yet. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that on. And I can show you what the difference is when you're walking and talking with this lens. I mean, there is some jello-iness, there is some wobble to it, there is some bounce to it. All in all, I think you could vlog with this lens. It's gonna be a little tight once I put that active stave on though. So let's go ahead and put that on right now. All right, so now we got that active stave on. This thing is really tight. You're not gonna see much of the background. You're just gonna see me. I'm the main focal point of this video, apparently. Being so tight, being so close, I mean, it is very difficult. I have my arm pretty much fully extended. I got long 3-foot arms. I got a nice 6-foot wingspan. Let me know. I mean, I'm walking, I'm not really taking any care at all. I mean, is the background still bouncing around and wobbling? But this is what the lens would look like with the active stave on. Let's go ahead and head back to the tripod and we'll finish this video up. All right, welcome back. Here we are, we're back in the original spot. So I got this thing set at f1.4 again, so you can get the maximum amount of blur that we can possibly get in the background. Now, this lens does have a lot of benefits. It's smaller, it's lighter. You could actually fit all three of the brand new Sony APS-C lenses, the 11mm, the 10 to 20 power zoom, this 15mm into a very small compact bag. I have the Peter McKinnon sling bag. You can easily fit all three of these lenses along with an APS-C body in that 8-liter sling bag, and you can be all set to run and gun all day long. Now this lens does have a couple cons. Of course, it is going to be a 15mm equivalent, which is about 22.7. It's very tough for vlogging, but it's still doable. Now that f1.4 is very nice. It is the fastest aperture that you can get for the Sony APS-C system. It's going to be exceptional in low light. Downside with an f1.4 is if you are going to be out shooting during the day, you're going to need a lot of ND. To get this 1.4, I've had to knock it down 8 stops of light to be able to get this type of look. All in all, this lens is fantastic. It is probably the best lens that they came out with. If you're interested in learning more about any of these lenses, I'll put links down in the description below. If you like this video, I'm sure you're going to like the video on the screen now. It's about another lens for the Sony APS-C system. Before you leave, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.